Hello everyone. This is just a quick message to say that we're going to be taking a short break here on The Kingdom Sleeps over the next couple of weeks, as myself and my partner are expecting a brand new adventure into the world, which is a very exciting time. So I want to thank you so much for your patience just while we take a short break and return sometime in early December. For our Patreons during this time, we're going to be releasing 2 bonus episodes. One with Hiram, where we explore a little bit of his family life back in Kopfyama, and also the as yet unreleased pilot episode of The Kingdom Sleeps, where Tom and I are first exploring the character of Yom and the kingdom of Sopros at large. So if you feel like listening to those things and would like to support us during the break, we'd love to see you over on the Patreon. As ever, thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful to have you here on this adventure with us. We hope to see you again soon when we return in early December. And without further ado, here's tonight's story. Sleep well. Welcome to The Kingdom Sleeps, the fantasy bedtime story decided by the roll of a dice. My name's Andrew, I'll be your story master for this evening.
And I'm Brandon, and I'll be playing Hiram.
And we will be continuing Hiram's journey in Kopfyama Citadel today. So, Brandon, would you mind telling us a little bit about how it is that Hiram is feeling being in the Citadel? He, of course, coming from Kopfyama, originally a very different region. What does he feel like having moved to this place?
Yeah, I think Hiram enjoys the kind of stark, cold beauty of Kopfyama. And here in Kopfyama, I think he, though being an engineer, feels a little bit oppressed by the industrial side of this city. In Kopfyama, though it is certainly a metropolis, I think it's less all-encompassing. The isolation of this city and the even the nature within the walls feeling so artificial kind of distances Hiram from a sense of ease that he might have as he looks out on the snow-capped peaks of his home city. Everything is just slightly off-kilter.
No. Yeah, that's a good bit of context on Hiram as we watch him as he carries on his adventures in the Citadel. Before we begin tonight's story, I'd like to, as always, say a big thank you to our Patreons for supporting the podcast. We really couldn't do it without you, and we really appreciate your support. If you've been watching and enjoying the show so far and you'd like to help support as well, you can find the link to our Patreon below. We do ad-free episodes, a little bit of behind-the-scenes content occasionally, as well as some of the art that we get for the show. So if you'd like some of that and to help support the show, we'd really appreciate it. But for now, close your eyes, make yourselves comfortable, and join us where the kingdom sleeps. As we rejoin Hiram, we find him in the cold night air of the dense metropolis of Kopfyama Citadel, taking intentional, somewhat anxious, quick steps through the streets as he makes his way towards an establishment known as Hinatu's Ear. After somewhat curious and, dare I say, paranoia-inducing evening, having found what he believes to be some sort of monitoring device situated behind the wall in his own apartment. And as he makes these steps through the street, worming his way through the somewhat dense crowd of people that still remain in this bustling evening, the shining lights of buildings and street lamps around him. How is Hiram feeling?
Hiram, ever since he discovered that device in his wall, has not been able to shake, though he has hidden it in his brightstone-infused ink, that sense that he is being observed. So he finds himself feeling anxious and twitchy and very out of sorts. He's not the most familiar with this city and the culture of these people, and he feels even more alienated now than he ever has, even compared to when he first arrived.
And so with this strange sense of isolation in his heart, though paradoxically surrounded by people as he works his way through the streets, he tries to bear those directions he received from the elderly Duergar gentleman, Zilch, who lives near his apartment, over towards this pub establishment for the evening. And as he does so, feeling that somewhat oppressive environment he's in, walking past those little nods in the architecture of the city that act as almost a salute to the nationalization, the pride of the Guardians Guild and the Council of Sopros. You'll pass a rather tall marble statue that represents the first king of Sopros, Hinatu, standing proud with his arm in the air. You'll pass flags attached to certain street lamps as he walks by, flags with the seal of Sopros adorned on them, and that goldish yellow hue that is associated with the royals. But after making those quick steps through the streets, heading on down, turning to the left, roll me an investigation check, please.
It's a 9.
9. You look down this rather long avenue and find yourself on a street full of restaurants and purveyors of edible treats. This seems to indeed be the quarter of food in this area. But searching around, it's difficult to notice exactly where this Hinatu's ear might be, and vaguely recalling that the sign was rather small and intimate, you're not surprised that you're having difficulty picking it out. You might need to take a little walk along and continue to investigate further in order to find it. If you choose to do that. Sure.
I think Hiram would certainly hesitate as he looks at all these establishments and would want to take stock of the nature of the patrons of these various restaurants. Wanting to take stock of ultimately whether they look like they are possibly members of the Guardians Guild or not, if there's any sign of police activity in the area.
Roll me an investigation check, please.
That is 23.
Incredible. I mean, it's quite plain to see that there is a strong Guardians Guild presence within this area. Some are simply walking the street on patrol. With the 23, you can see that there are 2 pairs of guardians on each side of the street. And not only this, but in several of the restaurants, there are sat Guardians Guild members in their official attire, but sat as patrons, perhaps grabbing dinner for their evening during the shift. But they are not. These restaurants are not saturated with Guardians Guild members, but you can certainly pick them out every so often. These restaurants being many and varied, by the way. Each restaurant seems to be a microcosm in itself of all myriad cuisines from across Sopros and different sort of attitudes and styles, some with dim lights and candles on the table, some with bright lights shining and hot steam flooding through, some with neatly laid tables with cloths over top, and some with simple metal tables that look like they exist purely for a quick bite. And as Hiram continues to make his way through the streets, bearing in mind this Guardian Guild presence, does that affect his behavior in any way?
He would like to find Hinatu's ear, in particular, but it not being immediately clear where it is, he would like to try and remain as inconspicuous, particularly to the eyes of any Guardians Guild members. So if possible, he would like to try and blend in with a group that is absent of any Guardians Guild members and take a closer view of some of the restaurants and pubs further down the street, conscious of not being noticed by any Guardians Guild members. His suspicion being that it's someone in their ranks that's been watching him.
Sure. And so simply trying to find the place that has least Guardians Guild presence surrounding it. Okay, roll me a investigation check, please.
21.
Fantastic. Walking along the street a little further, what appears most evident to Hiram first is where definitely not to go. There are certain places that appear a little bit more rowdy, a little bit more conspicuous. And as Hiram continues to walk, he'll notice across the street a shout from a rather rowdy patron of one of the restaurants, tumbling over out of the door, shouting back into the entrance, I swear I gave him all my money. I paid up fair and square. And you see these Guardians Guild members rushing over to the entrance to sort of accost the man slightly and grab him and question him and try and deliberate the situation. Directly across the road from that is an establishment that seems quite quiet, comparatively. There's no obvious sign as you stand directly next to it watching this scene unfold across the road. Just this sort of long but short stained glass window that appears close to the floor, and a set of stairs that go down. So this is some sort of basement establishment. But you can see a really soft, glowing light coming from the inside.
Hiram would veer quickly away from the turmoil going on outside the rowdier establishment, and seeing that glow in what looks to be more inconspicuous place, that's an inviting proposition to him, and he would head straight for that stairway. But before taking any steps down, he would put his back against the wall next to the steps and take one look across the street to check if anyone is watching him.
And is that with the want to ensure that he can enter into the restaurant without being seen?
Exactly.
In which case, please roll me a stealth check.
It's a natural 1, with only a +1 to stealth.
Oh dear. As he puts his back against the wall, making that final check across the street to ensure he's not being observed, a Guardians Guild member who happens to be patrolling on Hiram's side of the street, walking with his fellow colleague, almost bumps into the side of your leg as he walks, before slightly checking himself to see that there's someone in the way. And you'll recognize this Guardians Guild member as someone that you see regularly, actually, in the Fort Hawari in which you work. They sometimes are stationed there as a fort guard. You have a very pleasant but largely formal relationship. You may say hello to this person. Hiro is their name. And as they clock your eye, having nearly just knocked into you, you can see a look of shock in their eyes to see you in this part of town, perhaps. And a small smile peels across their face. Oh, Mr. Time.
Hello, Hiro.
Oh, I didn't think I'd be seeing you at this time of day in this part of the town.
Oh, well, as it happens, I think I'm lost.
Oh, right. Where are you heading to?
Hiram would like to glance across the street and just read any name of any restaurant right now.
Sure. Yeah, roll me a performance check, actually.
It's a 16.
Not bad. With a 16, as Hiram's eyes panickedly, but presumably slightly covertly, scan the street opposite. The first clearly readable sign he can see is for what looks like some kind of seafood restaurant across the way, and it's called the Whipper's Barrel.
I was recommended a place, something about a barrel, seafood establishment.
Hey. And you can see his colleague next to him nudges him in the arm. Oh, yeah, that'll be the Whipper's Barrel. And he turns over his shoulder. It's just there.
Oh, how Silly of me, I must have just missed it.
Right, yeah. To be honest, mate, I wouldn't get in there myself. It's had a couple of bad reports of food poisoning. A couple of times, actually. I've had a bit of a funny one myself a few times. Some people rate it, but if you were talking to me, I'd say steer clear of it.
Anywhere you would recommend instead?
What kind of food you like? This guy, he likes the fancy stuff, I'm sure. You want to be over on the quarter, over the other side of the city, wouldn't you? With the fine oak tables and all those little plates they put out and stuff like that. That'd be your sort of thing, wouldn't it?
I like to venture out sometimes, as you can see. Maybe I will just brave the Pippa's barrel. I have a sturdy stomach.
Alright, yeah, your choice, mate, your choice. I mean, to be honest, I'd recommend that place you're just standing in front of here. It's, I went, it was a good couple of months ago now, but, yeah, my wife's birthday. We had a nice time.
How lovely, and what is this place exactly?
And he leans over and points his arm right down the stairs to the sign on the door of this basement restaurant and says, Hinatu's here. It's a good one. They got like roasted, it's all kind of roasted things, quite good traditional Kopfyama food. And as he points down, you can see there is a wooden carved sign with the glyphs that read Hinatu's ear and a carved fey ear in the center.
Looks a little seedy for my liking. I'll try the barrel.
Yep. Alright. Suit yourself. Well, have a good one.
You too, hero. See you at work.
Yeah. See you there. And they sort of smirk amongst themselves as they walk away, scanning their eyes across the rest of the street.
Hiram would let them walk away and not move, waiting for them to be obscured by a passing crowd or simply turn the corner before immediately turning down the steps into Hinatu's ear.
It's not long before they are lost in amongst the flows of people that wander up and down this street. And you can head down the stairs. Gets a little bit dark as you head down these stairs, and there is just one small flickering lamp that lights the doorway. As you open up the door, you are greeted with a deep warmth that comes from a huge central lit fire in the center of the room that goes up into this huge metal chimney, and a lovely crackling of the burning wood, an oaky rich smell of not just the wood but these roasting vegetables that you've heard so much about, and this hearty but not raucous buzz of chatter across the room as you see tables of people packed in tight with these small round circular tables really close to each other, and you can see servers with large wide circular trays sort of squeezing their way through the patrons and plopping down trays as they go. It looks like definitely somewhere you could be lost in.
Hiram would immediately look for two things. Anyone he recognizes, and any empty table that he might take alone.
Roll me an investigation check for both of those things, please.
So the first is a 23.
Okay, and what is that going to be for?
That would be for someone he recognizes.
Okay, great. Alright. And for an empty table?
It's an 18.
Rolling phenomenally, as you always seem to have done so far. Scanning across the room, you notice someone who you're so thankful you noticed first, sitting quite near the entrance. This is a young member of the Constructors Guild, an apprentice, who at your various times in the Constructors Guild building has tried to approach you a number of times, looking to take a meeting with you. They seem rather enamored with you. And you've mostly sort of ignored them thus far, shooing them away as perhaps being, too busy just at that time. But you're almost certain that if they saw you here, they'd want to try and approach you. But as such, they are sat down with the person that they are here with, deep in conversation. This person's name is Faye. She is a merfolk apprentice constructor.
Are there any empty tables?
In terms of tables, with an 18, you can see a few empty tables, though this place is rammed with people. They sit just at the back of the restaurant, and you will have to pass behind the back of Faye in order to get to them.
Hiram would clock one of the empty tables and take perhaps a slightly more indirect route towards one, such that he would be conspicuously in Faye's eye line for a longer period, and hope that she would initiate some kind of contact.
So you're intentionally trying to catch her attention. Okay. So the way in which the restaurant is laid out would mean that taking a more conspicuous route to catch her attention is sort of a strange route to take through the restaurant. And not a rather cumbersome way to do it. I'm going to get you to roll oddly enough, an acrobatics check to ascertain your dexterity to get by these things in a way casual enough to seem as if you are simply just trying to make your way.
Trying to look like a bit of a bumbling oaf, but not ridiculous.
Sure.
That's a 9.
With a 9, you begin to squeeze your way past the backs of these chairs, through the tables, towards ones you're trying to get to, but on the other side, the side that Faye would be facing, so that you can be more conspicuous to her. But that doesn't require you to squeeze yourself up against another table, which itself is right up against these sort of rustic shelves that contain sort of jars of ingredients that are mostly there for decoration, just to make the place look a bit homely. Unfortunately, with that roll, you just squeeze past one of the chair legs that you hook your foot against, lean forward, your elbow plunges down into one of the shelf faces, and you knock up a few of these jars as the shelf itself tips down, crashes onto the floor. And you yourself do not fall down, but you certainly cause attention to yourself as you do so. And if you were to look at Faye in that moment, you'd see her staring directly at you.
I think I would avoid looking at Faye at all costs at this very moment. And to those nearest me, I'm so very sorry.
You can see a few people turning around that are in the near vicinity to look at you. The person closest to you, a young woman, gets out of her chair, and though you are standing, sees the mess that's been created and says, "You all right? Are you okay?"
I'm fine. Of course, I will pay for your meal, and
It's all right. It's all right. Just take care of yourself. So slow steps. At this point, you can now see more members of staff coming from a back room, all trying to squeeze into this very awkward place that you've managed to worm yourself into to try and sweep from the floor. This woman now has to step back in order to make room for them.
I will pay for any damage. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Honestly, we're fine. You trying to find yourself a seat?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
Just to the back there. Maybe try and go that way. It's a bit easier.
Okay, I will. Excuse me, and Hiram would look down at his feet, checking whether any of the contents of these jars has ended up on his shoes.
Let me roll a luck roll for Hiram. It probably would be more likely than not that we get some, so I'm going to say anything over a 15 means he's okay. And with a 9, he has tarnished the front of his shoes with some of the viscous, jam-like contents of these jars.
His nostrils flared at this sight. He will, now feeling not only humiliated but in something of a funk, slightly less courteously barge his way towards an empty table.
And taking the more preferable and direct route to these empty tables, Hiram makes his way quite easily and sits himself down. But he will notice that he is quickly followed by Faye, who approaches him as he sits, standing next to his table. "Oh, Hiram, Master Hiram, glad to see you here."
I didn't see you there, Faye. How are you?
"Oh, yeah, great, thanks. How are you? Are you here for dinner?"
I was recommended the place.
Yeah, you must be. It's a restaurant, isn't it? Yeah, I'm here with my friend as well. I was recommended it to you. We haven't got our dinner yet, but are you okay? It looked like you took a fall.
No, I didn't fall. A mere bump. But,
Right.
yes, I'm, all things considered, fine. I haven't seen you at, the guild recently.
Oh, haven't you? I've been there. A lot, actually. I've seen you. You look quite busy whenever you're there, though. So I didn't want to bother you. But I was wondering, since I've seen you now, if maybe at some point you might like to, well, if it'd be okay for you to offer your time. Well, I was looking for perhaps a little bit of mentorship. And you can see a sort of awkward face as she says these words.
Well, Faye,
Just a little advice. I wouldn't want too much of your time.
of course, what is it you've been working on of late?
Oh, I'm actually working on something agricultural. You see, I'm such a big fan of the Tom tractor.
It's a harvester.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Brightstone
of course,
harvester.
Brightstone Harvester, that's the official name, but, everyone calls it a Tom tractor, don't they?
I suppose they do.
It's just ingenious what you've done. Honestly, the way that you made it be able to pick that specific grain in that specific way, I'm not sure anyone else could have thought of it. It's amazing. I've studied it for such a long time.
Thank you, Faye. I appreciate your kind words. I wondered if I might turn your mind to something else for a moment.
Okay.
I don't know if you have seen anyone working on surveillance equipment.
Surveillance? What kind?
Well, anything really. You know, security is always of highest priority here in Kopfyama, and
Of course.
I'm working on some security contracts right now, and as a young and creative engineer like yourself, I wondered if you had seen anyone working on something like that, and perhaps if you had any ideas.
Well, now that you mention it, yeah. Well, I'm only an apprentice, so I'm learning at the moment. I'm not really privy to too much, but my master, the one I'm learning under at the moment, did mention something about monitoring devices. Are you familiar with Hiram? Hiram Dilblock?
Yes. Not personally, but by reputation, of course.
He happened to mention today, actually, while we were discussing my agricultural project, something about monitoring devices. But I didn't get too many details, other than, just the standard sort of stuff that comes out of the Constructor's Guild. That's all I've heard.
I'll tell you what, Faye. You keep an eye on any goings-on with such equipment. That would be very helpful for me in my security contracts. And in return, I will look over your designs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why do you need to... I mean, don't you just want to talk to Hiram yourself? I'm sure he'd be able to tell you...
Rather you report this straight to me and discreetly.
Okay. Sure.
And I'd be happy to look at your designs as a result.
Really? Thanks so much. That'd be great. And she begins to dive into a really deep pocket in the rather nice sort of evening wear robe that she's wearing, and pulls out this huge sort of scroll about half the size of her leg, that's wrapped in a small ribbon, and something you've seen many times before. This is print paper that would be used for design work.
I wasn't expecting you to have it on you right now.
I just happen to have it. Well, I carry it around with me quite a lot. I like to look at it, but if you want to take a look.
Maybe not right this
of course,
very moment.
You're eating dinner. Sorry, that's...
I could take it and have a look when... another time.
Sure, you can give it back when I next see you at the Constructors Guild.
Actually, Faye, where do you live near here?
Not far. About maybe 10 minutes.
I would like to eat, but There's some plumbing work being done in my apartment at the moment, and there's a lot of noise, and
Sure.
I don't think I would get a good night's sleep there, and that would naturally impede my work.
Oh,
You wouldn't happen to know somewhere I could stay around here, would you?
oh, right.
Just for this evening.
Sure. Well, I suppose there's a few hotels around the corner, or I mean, you could stay with me if you wanted. I'd have to ask my mother, but
Well, I wouldn't want to put you out of sorts at all.
I'm sure it would be fine, especially if they knew you were a master of the Constructors Guild.
Well, I suppose it would give me ample opportunity to take a look at your designs.
Great. Sure. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll finish my dinner and we'll meet afterwards, and you can come back.
That sounds lovely.
Okay.
I will ask if my food can be rushed through the kitchens, and perhaps I will meet you out front once we've finished dining.
Brilliant. Great.
You can see an almost anxious but elated, sort of awkward joy as she doesn't know what to do with her luck that she's received this evening.
I won't keep you from your companion any longer there, alone over there.
Of course. Sure. I'll catch you soon.
And she awkwardly sort of waves and turns around and returns to her seat, looking over her shoulder a couple of times before she goes.
Hiram would take a seat, and though at this point he is quite hungry, I think his mind is far from considering the options of cuisine, and would simply invite any of the staff to bring him something hot. And I think he would take the inkwell out of his bag and slosh it around in his hand, feeling the weight of that object inside, and nod. He hadn't initially considered whether he would return to his apartment this evening, but as he looks at it, he feels more resolutely that he does not want to go back there right now. He would glance across the room at Faye and think of Hero on the street outside. And for the first time in stillness since he discovered the device, consider who on earth might any reason to be watching him, and why. His mind would go to those he's working under in the Guardians Guild, and whether he might have said or done anything put any of them on edge, or whether he's working on anything that there may be some level of distrust towards him because of his expertise or simply the knowledge of the technologies that are being worked on. But feeling anxious and foggy in his mind from his hunger, he ends up taking a deep breath and sitting back in his seat, just wishing that he wasn't in this situation.
in this sort of blur of questions and anxieties that whirl around in his mind as he sits there, sort of acting outside of himself as the servers come round. And it's not long before he's ordered something quick and hot. It's this thing that sort of resembles a flat bread with some kind of cured meat on top of it. Freshly baked, it seems. That you can eat quite quickly. But as I say, almost acting as a ghost of himself, for all the pensiveness going on in this situation. It's not long before he finishes his meal.
He barely even clocked the taste of it, eating mechanically, really just watching Faye, hoping that she will finish up her meal with her companion as quickly as possible, and he'd be happy to abandon an unfinished meal to join her if they were to finish first.
I'd say you only just about finished your meal, maybe a slither of bread left on the plate, before you look over and notice that Faye is giving a hug to their companion, who walks away out of the restaurant. Faye remains stood looking on and turns around towards where you sit, making her way over.
I don't want to disturb. Are you finished?
I am finished, yes. And Hiram, as he says that, would count out a number of marks, offering a generous tip as well as some excess for the damage, and briefly catch a member of staff and point out the lady who he'd bumped and who had stood earlier, and make it clear that he would pay for her meal as well, and leave the marks on the table, ready to vacate the premises with Faye.
With those marks, very gratefully received as you exit with Faye. You make your way back up those steps and back into that bustling street. As you walk along, Faye nervously bumbles towards you.
My apartment isn't very much, and it's just me and my mom and my dad. And you may just have to wait 1 second. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I just gotta ask him if it'd be okay for you to stay, just to make the bed out. And
no problem if not. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
And you can kind of see an awkward look in her eye. Roll me an insight check, please.
That's a 17.
On a 17, it's plain enough to see that Faye doesn't know how to talk to you at all. She feels very uncomfortable in her skin communicating with you, but you're not entirely sure whether that's just social anxiety or purely from the reverence that she has for your ingenuity. And so she goes a little quiet and looks to the ground as you both continue to walk through the streets.
Hey, what exactly is it you've been working on in the agricultural domain?
Oh, well, it's a little bit similar to the Brightstone Harvester.
Yes.
I would say that's why I've been studying it so fervently. I don't know if you've ever heard of the plump bean.
Indeed.
Well,
Forest, grows in the forests.
that's right, that's right. Well, that it's traditionally only ever been able to be picked by hand. Again, because similar with the Brightstone Harvester, it's difficult in the way that it grows from the vine to procure. But I'm trying to develop a device where it could be done mechanically.
But what I would recommend immediately is that you not only think about how it be removed from the vine, but the context in which the machine will operate. Narrow trees and paths in the forest.
Oh yeah, of course. So I suppose streamlining the size of the machine for perhaps the narrow paths through the roots and such.
And for maneuverability as well.
Of course.
You have, clearly a sharp mind. I wonder, have you ever seen, and as they walk, Hiram would reach for the inkwell, and with a pair of tweezers that he would also retrieve from his bag, pull the Brightstone device out of the inkwell and show it to Faye. Ever seen anything like this?
And you see that her jaw is slightly open as you undertake this strange action of pulling a device from an inkwell. Evidently, several questions spinning in her mind as she watches you do this, but asking that question directly and presenting the device to her. She cranes her head towards it, almost sort of stopping her walking motion to take a closer look. As you slow down, may I touch it?
Yes, though. There will likely be some ink on the device now.
Of course. She plucks it from you. Well, I'm not sure I've seen a device like this, or, held one in my hand, but if I remember correctly from, the textbooks, this is some kind of sending device. You can see from the glyph on the top, and this glyph here. Well, if it was flipped, it would be different, but this way it's motion. So this monitors motion.
Yes, good.
Does it have a receiver?
I imagine so. You haven't seen any receivers? It's a guild.
Well, no, I suppose not, but as I say, Master Hiram. Well, he was working on sending stones, so
Oh, interesting.
he would probably know where they are. Should I ask him?
No, leave that to me. I will speak with Ria myself.
Okay. Where did you get this?
I would take it back and immediately put it back in the inkwell. Oh, it's, curiosity is part of my projects.
Roll me a deception check, please.
It's a 4.
You see Faye's brow furrow, and her tail sort of visibly sort of swoops behind her and curls around her leg so as to make her countenance a little bit bunched in, looking almost concerned. But if it was a curiosity. I mean, where did you get it? Why would it? What do you mean?
I think they're naturally, as you, I'm sure, understand, be security risks in discussing the intimacies of Guardians Guild contracts.
Oh. Secret.
Something like that.
Sure. Understood.
I'm trusting you, Faye.
I feel like... Are you trying to intimidate there, or are you trying to endear with a sense of...
I'm trying to
trust?
convince her that I have already let her in on more than she should know.
Okay.
And that now she is within a trusted circle.
I think you'll need to roll another deception check, please.
It's a 16.
You can see a glimmer of remaining doubt behind Faye's eyes, but the words that come out of her mouth are...
Oh, understood. Don't worry. I can keep a secret.
Glad to hear that, Faye. Are we nearly there?
Oh, yes. It's not far. Just a few minutes around the corner.
As you continue to walk down the street. And as you reach the corner, you're just about to turn, you see a familiar young face. A young monstrum girl. No older than 12 years old, perhaps. Adorned in a grey flat cap of sorts, wearing a suit of worn-out leather, standing by a little wooden box with a stool nearby. This is a character you know as Jorah, and she shouts,
Shoe shine. Get your shoe shine. Shoe shine's here. Best and shiniest shoes in the city.
Oh. Faye, you have to bear with me a moment. You may have noticed my unfortunate accident in the restaurant has caused me a...
Oh, of course. Sure. What,
You don't mind?
Oh, no.
and she looks around her, and her eyes sparkle towards a small jewelry stool at the corner.
I'll just take a look over there, for a while, and wait for you.
Of course, I'm sure it won't be long.
Of course, no worries.
And she carefully looks each way as she crosses the street towards the merchant.
Hiram, feeling the first bit of relief this evening since he saw Faye's face as he entered Hinatu's ear. His pulse noticeably slows from its heightened, stressed state. Approaches Jorah. You're out late tonight, Jorah?
Oh, Mr. Tom. It's been a while.
I've been keeping the cleaner streets of late, but, have not been quite so fortunate this evening.
Oh, yes, I can see. Is that a jam or something?
I honestly don't know.
Bring me a shoe.
Thank you, Jorah.
And you can see her bundling into this almost like a tool belt with neatly arranged implements for polishing and a big satchel by the side of her on the floor that contains several kinds of polish for each
shoes she might encounter, and she carefully runs her fingers along them as she looks at your shoe and looks back and picks out the correct one that she begins to daub on her polishing implement and brings it down to your shoe, sort of flossing at the top as it goes.
Are you, running short on clients, working so late? One so young.
Well, just, trying to make an extra bit of cash. The, family could use it right now.
I see. I'll throw a little something extra in for you tonight.
That's real kind of you, Mr. Tom. I appreciate it. How's life?
Oh. I'll be honest with you. I have had better evenings. Feeling quite out of sorts.
Oh, that doesn't sound like you very much, Mr. Tom.
Well, sometimes I wonder who I can really rely on in this city.
I don't blame you, Mr. Tom. There's a lot of secrets, a lot of lies.
What kind of lies?
Oh, all sorts. Everybody talks like they are, so proud of the Citadel and of the Guardians Guild and loves the royals, but that's not what they say when they're at home.
And what would these people know of that would make them not be proud?
That depends, Mr. Tom. What kind of people are we talking about? What kinds of things do we want to know?
Well, what about a shoe shiner?
What would a shoe shiner say about the royals? I think, as you see young Jorah looking from left to right down the street, and noticing that the Guardians Guild members are just outside of earshot, some few feet down the road.
I think Hiram would also pull some coin out of his pocket and conspicuously make it evident that there's yet another extra something in this.
As you see Jorah's eyes gleam at presenting these marks, and her buffing temporarily begins to slow. She looks at them, sort of collects herself a little bit. I think if you were asking a shoe shine, she might say that she's seen too many things and heard too many things that nobody wants her to talk about. To trust the Royal Council or even the Guardians Guild.
I pull another coin out of my pocket. Yes.
Certain deliveries, for example, that come in the main gate. People discussing their movements and then, oh, what do you know? We don't know what deliveries you're talking about. Clandestine projects? People talking in codes? I don't suppose. you've ever heard anyone talking about corrupted stone?
Oh. Is it a form of bright stone?
Mr. Tom, I am simply a shoe shine. I only say what I hear. At these words, Jorah's eyes dart to her left. A couple patrol of Guardians Guild approach. And I'm sticking to what I'm good at, shoe shining. I think you'll find that quite to your taste, as she makes a knot in her cloth and puts it in her side.
Very much so, Jorah. And I hand her an extra generous handful of marks.
Oh, Mr. Tom.
It's okay. Take the rest of the night off, Jorah.
I'll be going home right now. Thanks, Mr. Tom.
I'll see you again. You don't happen to know where some clandestine deliveries are being taken?
I'm now going to roll for your luck. I will say that those Guardians Guild are quite close, and you are lucky enough that they are temporarily distracted with a 4. At the main gates. Then they get on the train line, and then I don't know where.
Thank you again, Jorah. And good night.
Good night, Mr. Tom. And she whips up her bag and her satchel in the same motion. It swings around her back, and she is off down the street into the night in a flash.
Hiram is feeling somewhat emboldened in this moment. And I think he would walk towards that jewelry shop that Faye had gone into to catch Faye's attention. Faye, I'm finished out here.
And just as she has 2 bracelets she's comparing in her hand, she looks up and over at you. Oh, okay, no problem. I don't think I want anything anyway. Thank you. And she begins to walk out.
I must apologize. Something has come up.
Oh.
But I thought I would take your design to have a look at my office, and I would get it back to you.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no worries. Are you sure? I'm sure it doesn't matter.
I'm sure.
Okay. And even as she's sort of giving these words, she's mostly eagerly just ruffling for her designs and eagerly handing them over to you. Great. Yeah, take as much time as you like. I'd love as many notes as you can afford.
You have copies of this?
Oh, I have versions of it somewhere. That is my best copy, but yeah, I could do it again.
Okay. Thank you very much for your company and astute observations this evening, Faye. I will be in touch.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Well, good night.
Good night, Faye. And I would let Faye begin walking in the direction of her home. And then I would want to orient myself towards the fort. And I would like to begin walking with some purpose to the fort. As Hiram decides that he would like to take a late night stroll towards his offices and perhaps some other areas in the fort itself.
Well, orienting yourself towards the fort is not a difficult task, as Fort Owari, it sits in the center of the citadel of Kopfyama, looms over the city itself. The city is full of tall and neatly packed together buildings, but this castle, this defensive fort, sits tall above the rest, and you can see it simply by looking up over your shoulder to where it sits in the center of everything. And as you see where it is, with that resolution in your mind, take a closer look at your offices and other nearby places. You once again start making some quick and deliberate steps through the city streets of Kopfyama Citadel.